So it appears that the Joys of Marriage Part 1 resonated with a lot of people in the comments, so it would be a travesty not to present Part 2. Now, in the first video, I spent a couple of minutes laying out various caveats as to why you might not want to take this too seriously. And the vast majority of people were able to understand that, but there were a few triggered infants that let their emotions override their rationality, which just goes to show you can't 100% idiot-proof a video. Now, if you came to this video before watching the first one, it's worth taking the time to watch that one first, and then if you still have a problem with the content, come back and leave a comment here so the rest of us can ridicule your emotional fragility. Anyway, I've decided to call Part 2 Words of Wisdom, and for the humour challenged among you, no, it doesn't mean that you should take these words to heart. You might find some wisdom, or you might not. Either is fine. So let's get to it. A man who compromises when he's wrong is wise. A man who compromises when he's right is married. And you don't need to be married for that to ring true. It's really scary how men that were once married tell me that they were always alone, only now they are divorced. Day 485 without sex. No, I'm not fat or ugly. Yes, I've declined opportunities with other women in that time. No, I would not recommend that any man get married. Best advice I ever got from Stanley Bing, actually. When you have a fight with your wife, fight hard. Don't back down. You're doing her, yourself, and the world a disservice if you do. I've found, at least with my wife, that anything I say to her in a logical way will be reprocessed through her head to mean something other than what I've actually meant to say. I think that sometimes she does this on purpose, but I'm not sure. And staying on that theme of argumentation, women still think it's cool to argue any point, no matter how trivial, to the point of making their husbands dream of suicide, no matter what age they are. There's nothing on this earth that can be worse than a lifelong power struggle with an infantile woman. It's no wonder so many men are happily letting their wives leave. I love how every time men make a rational argument about the misery of their condition, the number one comeback is to accuse the guy of being afraid of something. Some cheesy 1970s female playbook they all receive secretly upon puberty must have a chapter about exploiting your man's fragile self-esteem. So we are accused of being afraid of commitment, afraid of strong, powerful women, etc., etc. If you accuse a man of being afraid, he'll do what you want to prove he is fearless, just like a cute little boy. No more, bitch. Shaming tactics have been overused and are no longer effective. Personally, I think that's an important lesson worth paying attention to. By all means, if you do something shameful, then you should rightfully feel ashamed. But the kinds of examples outlined above are simply women trying to manipulate you into doing something they want you to do. I heard the "you're afraid of commitment" quite a few times when I was young, and I always felt there was something wrong with the accusation, but it took me a while to figure out what was behind it and how to articulate a response. You're afraid of commitment implies there is something wrong with you. You're not a real man, as though acquiescing to every whim of a woman makes you a real man. So instead of trying to prove that you're a real man, throw it back and say something like, I'm not afraid of commitment, but if I appear somewhat hesitant, perhaps it has something to do with you. Perhaps I'm reticent to commit to someone I don't trust 100%, who would resort to such manipulation tactics that you have just displayed, and who could decide at any moment to up and leave and take half of what I've been building for the last fill-in-the-blank years of my life. So afraid of commitment? No, I just don't want to commit to you. Women make decisions that make them feel good in the short run. They want to get rid of their husband. They don't consider the fact that after the rush of getting half his stuff, they will have to get by on less than half his income, and whatever they can earn while raising the kids. Society used to protect women from their poor decisions by making divorce difficult to obtain, and providing no support for disloyalty. Before the dark times, before feminism. Anything you do or say is twisted by them into playing their fucked up game. These people are not real. They're not human. They are just a bunch of insecurities and neuroses which manifest themselves as egotism and bullying. They will never become good. They're doomed and will doom you too by association. That is the reality. You need to get out. Now. Marriage for a man these days is handing a woman an axe, then putting his head on a chopping block in the trust that she won't cut it off. She doesn't do the same for him. I got lucky, but I cannot guarantee the 26-year-old guys I work with that they will have the same results. Most seem to be considering pampered bitches as wives. This is not good. I can't stand spending 5 minutes in a room with these women. They are very materialistic and self-centered. Most of my 40-ish buddies are very unhappy or divorced outright. The entire situation is rather bleak. I consider myself lucky. When I got married, I had no idea what I was getting into. You think you know, but no one can predict 10 to 20 years into the future. It's a total crapshoot. I got lucky. I admit that freely. That is refreshingly honest. You can do all the due diligence you want, and you absolutely should, but there is a big dose of luck that goes into it, as the next comment suggests. That's just luck. A lot of men do everything right, and when they marry, are sure their significant other is rational, loving, into sex, etc. Whether the woman stays like that is down to luck. All a man's judgment and actions do is maximise his chances of success. A lot of women put on their best face before marriage at the subconscious level and stop making the effort afterward. They don't even do this consciously, so they seem to actually be better women beforehand rather than putting on an act. It can be almost impossible to see this kind of thing coming. If a woman, for whatever reason, changes or decides she is no longer satisfied in marriage, the man is screwed. He doesn't need to actually do anything wrong. Women will try to change you. It's inevitable. What you can do at the minimum is look like you are alpha. Speak loudly, stomp, make noise. Don't take any shit. If she yells, yell back so she knows you won't take that. At the same time, take care of responsibilities before she thinks about them. Only then will you have a happy marriage. In response to a 36-year-old man considering marriage, never get married. You're finally at the age where life starts getting really good. You can date a girl half your age, and it's legal. From my experience, the 10 to 15 years age difference in a more sophisticated woman hasn't made any difference in anything. Women are now perpetual teenagers who never grow up. So you may as well get the body that matches the mind. Honestly, there are few women I can stand to listen to for more than 5 minutes. The level of self-absorption in American women is profound. Oh, that's funny. And if that makes me a bad person, I honestly don't give a shit. So you call their bluff. You'd think going without sex for a while was some kind of intolerable torture. Pop in a porn, rub one out. You'll survive and you'll have cut off that source of power she has over you. Freedom always comes at a price. Pay it willingly. The irony is that if withholding sex gets her what she wants with you, she'll only do it more often. Make it irrelevant to her getting what she wants, and she'll stop using that tactic. You're just creating a rod for your own back with your short-sightedness. Think with the big head for a change. I think Bill Burr has a bit about that where he talks about just rubbing one out. My advice for all you beaten down miserable guys stuck with some fucking Twinkie eating American Idol extreme makeover watching annoying bitch is, get the fuck out. Take your life back. I'm not tooting my own shit, but since I've gotten divorced, I've gotten into 2 MBA schools, haven't picked yet, played in 7 beach volleyball tournaments, and about 3 months into a fucking marathon training program. Yes, I miss the easy, consistent quality sex. No, I do not miss just about anything else. This is your life, tards. One shot. No do-overs. Are you really going to spend it with some unhappy fucking cunt? Fuck that. Reclaim it. Do all the shit you always wanted to do. The pussy will come to you. Make you move. To those who aren't married, one key thing. Take a good look at the girl's mother. She will invariably become just like her mother. You'll want to believe this isn't the case for your sweet little thing. You're wrong. Completely wrong. Bank on it. An earlier post said to look at the mother to see what the girlfriend will end up being. That's true enough, but look at the father as well. If he appears worn down and henpecked, then take a good look at your own future. For 19 years I've been tracking married couples where I work, people I socialise with, etc. 85% or so, the women have become fat, sexless hogs and the men are miserable. If you have one of the 15%, be thankful on a daily basis. Face it, women are selfish. All the wedding and receptions I see now are really just a celebration by the woman for the glorification of herself. What guy would go spend 20 grand or more on a wedding? Fuck, we'd buy a monster big screen TV and power tools for the basement. American women are so selfish they really don't give a fuck about the man. To them it's all about me, and you better work harder to give it to them. Thank God I'm not married, but I look at friends who are and just go, you poor bastard. Yeah, I've always thought this about weddings. It's her day. You just show up in your penguin suit to play your bit part. I've never understood how this makes any rational economic sense, but then again, I guess that's the point. The modern wedding is a female fantasy, based on pure emotion and completely divorced from any rational considerations. I know two guys, both make good money, are good looking and great dads. Their wives are depressed, putting on weight, don't work outside the home, want him to take the kids or start working as soon as he walks in the door. One goes out and gets massages and her nails done and wants a cleaning lady. Like, what the fuck? Is this some sort of full-time vacation for her? Man, the dudes are like perfect husbands and they treat them like dirt. I feel sorry for you bastards. I know, it hurts I don't have kids, but that can be a fantasy gone bad too these days. Just go to any mall. I feel so bad for my friends that have cunts for wives. All they care about is the new kitchen, trips, and the diamonds they deserve to get for Christmas. Two of my friends gave their wives expensive gifts. What did they get? A new dress shirt and tie. These guys are 39 and their lives are over. They're nothing but walking ATMs. Reply: that's me. I can't listen to that harpy shriek about how she deserves, they love that word, don't they, this or that, and how I'm so mean. Or I can just buy the damn thing and get some peace and quiet, but at the cost of a little bit of my soul. Women are like zombies, except they don't want brains, just lots of stuff, more stuff. So these last few comments I'm going to call acceptance, but acceptance not in a good way. All her babbling, nagging has become so much white noise, and it's much easier to waste an afternoon in a furniture store than it is to put up with a month of passive-aggressive bullshit. I'm just agreeing with her so she will A, shut up, and B, get out of there as quickly as possible so I can salvage something of my weekend. She refuses to work. She always has some excuse. She's depressed. She won't make a lot of money. I make enough for both of us. She takes care of the house. Not really. It's one fucking thing after another. So I just save myself the trouble and don't bring it up anymore. Fucking blood-sucking bitch. Slowly they suck all the life out of you until one day you discover that the whole relationship is lifeless. I'm finding, oddly enough, that it is the woman that discovers the relationship is lifeless before the man does. I think it's because all the while she was searching for wealth, shoes and comparison shopping with her friends, and the logical end of all that is that it leads to nowhere. The husband buries himself in his career and defines himself not as happy, but as provider and achiever. It is lifeless for him before it is lifeless for her, but she is the first to discover it. The male just resigns himself to the situation. Then the divorce comes. In 2/3 of the cases, it is the woman that files it. The husband feels used, betrayed, lied to, manipulated, and disconnected. She gets the children, he is booted from the house. The friends back off out of confusion, and he gets an apartment, bed, television, and toaster. Her life continues without him. She gets support. He gets to pay it. Then the day comes when the divorce is final, and he discovers that he's free. He's not sure what he's free from, but he knows that he's then enslaved to nothing but child support and alimony. So on that slightly grim note, we'll end part 2. As stated before, I have enough for one more video, so if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.